Just after 9 a.m. on Tuesday morning, and it is snowing in Springfield, but the Capitol is right over there. So you could see it a little better if it wasn't snowing. But we are in our office today. You can see our logo up there, our office, all of our signs. We are in Springfield. Legislative session is on, and we wanted to give you a little update about what's going on and what will happen in, I don't know, a little less than 6 weeks that's left. This is a really important deadline week, and I want to explain to you a little more about what that is, third reading deadline. So I want to pass this off to Ariel Hampton, our legal researcher, who's going to tell you a little bit more about where we are in the process.
Thanks, Jen. Hello, everyone. So we have about 40 days until the end of session. This is an incredibly busy time for IEC. Friday was the floor amendment deadline in the Senate, and today is the floor amendment deadline in the House. And because of this, we're seeing bills fly out of committee. We're waiting for bills to move to third reading. So third reading is the final time the bills can be voted on and if these bills pass, they advance out of their chamber. And these bills must advance out of their chamber of origin by next Friday, otherwise they'll die. So I'll hand it back off to Jen Walling, our executive director, to talk about our balloon bill.
Great, I'm back in our office where it is not snowing. I'm just very grateful to our very talented staff. I do want to talk about, we have a bill, House Bill 418, which we're working on with Representative Sam Yingling. That is a bill that bans balloon releases. Balloon releases have had really extreme consequences in terms of harming wildlife, causing pollution, clogging up infrastructure. Even this past weekend, there was a 1,200 balloon release that shut off power in part of Champaign, Illinois. So this is an issue. So we put together a ticket and are really encouraging people to not release balloons. So it's a minor bill that we're working on, but we have a ton of bills that are coming up. I want to head it over to Elliot Clay, our Ag and Water Programs Director, who has just had a lot of success working with our partner organizations on food bills this week. So Elliot.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. It's been a super exciting couple of weeks for us in like the food sector, policy area for IEC. The first big one that we had happen was Senate Bill 170 last week, which is the vegetable garden protection bill, which basically says that municipalities cannot enforce regulations or pass anything that has the practical effect of limiting somebody's right to grow their own fruits and vegetables in their yard. We've been working on this for a couple of years, and it's been surprisingly contentious. And I'm very, very happy to say that we got it out of the Senate Local Government Committee unanimously. And we're very, very excited to get this voted on in the Senate. And then respectively get it back over to the House and get it back to the governor's office. So we're really excited. In addition to that, we've also been working with the Illinois Stewardship Alliance and the Institute for Justice on Senate Bill 2007, which is going to expand opportunities for cottage food producers in Illinois to sell their products outside of farmers markets, which is what they've been limited to for a few years now. This would allow them to do online sales and in-person things and really just expand these business opportunities for these small, like upcoming businesses that I think in some instances is probably going to allow them to expand and actually become like brick and mortar businesses at some point. So this is a really, really good initiative just for small business in Illinois and for showing off all the cool stuff that people are making here in the state. So exciting stuff happening. So I'll hand it back over to Jen.
Great, thank you so much, and congratulations to Elliot and all the local food advocates from our partners like Illinois Stewardship Alliance that have been working on this bill for so long, Institute for Food Justice. So thank you. I want to hand it off now to Colleen Smith, our Deputy Director, who's going to talk a little bit about what's happened with some really important water bills this session so far.
Thanks, Jen. Yeah, it is really exciting to have such a strong team being able to work on so many different bills. Last week, we had success on a bill that we've been working on with Senator Fine and Sierra Club for 7 years in various ways. So we finally passed some important notification and transparency provisions for coal tar based sealant. Coal tar is a carcinogen, it's a byproduct of burning coal, and it's going on parking lots and school playgrounds and all of these places where people don't realize they're then tracking in this carcinogen into their homes. So with this bill, we'll take a step forward in educating people about this danger and making sure that we look for alternatives whenever we can, especially at the state. We also passed a bill unanimously out of Senate Environment that addresses PFAS, perfluoroalkylic substances, which are known as the forever chemical. These are in everything from food packaging and clothing now, but they're in very high concentrations in firefighting foam and fire retardants. And they're seen to be causing significant water quality contamination throughout the country. And here in Illinois, there are numerous sites. So we've been working on that legislation to reduce and phase out the use of that foam here in Illinois, which is really exciting as well. So expecting a vote on both of those bills this week on the Senate floor. And another initiative that we've been working really hard for a long time on is the replacement of all lead service lines here in Illinois. For those of you who are signed up for Lobby Day next Monday, you'll be talking to legislators about this initiative. And we expect a vote in committee this week to continue to advance that bill through the process. Illinois has estimated an eighth of all lead service lines in the country, and there are 350,000 children at risk of lead poisoning if we don't act on this. So really significant legislation that we're feeling really optimistic about. I'll pass it back over to Jen.
Great. Thank you so much, Colleen. I wanted to give an update too, and Colleen can add to it in terms of what's going on with energy legislation. We're still really diligently working on the Clean Energy Jobs Act, but there are a number of other proposals that are out there. The Climate Union Jobs Act put together by Climate Jobs Illinois, CUJ, got a lot of attention last week, and the governor's office put out a report by Synapse that minimized the number that Exelon would need to keep its nuclear plants open. So that those were some items that happened last week. But we are also seeing a number of natural gas expansion bills move forward, and we have a lot of concern about those. Of course, natural gas, well, it may not have some of the contaminants that coal has in terms of pollutants like heavy metals, et cetera. It is a real challenge to global carbon emissions. It can have a much higher impact than carbon dioxide, methane, both from the mining of it to leaking pipes, et cetera. So methane is a real climate change issue, and there are a number of bills out there that would expand natural gas within the state of Illinois natural gas infrastructure, which is not the place that we need to be going right now as we're trying to transition to full renewable energy. And so we saw a few bills move forward. I don't know, Colleen, do you want to just outline a few of those bills? I know there's the renewable natural gas expansion, so-called renewable, the Pembroke gas expansion, and then a little bit more of a rate increase just for natural gas companies. You want to outline those?
Yeah, thanks, Jen. I think that was a really good overview of all of what's happening on energy issues in Springfield. When we see what's happening to fossil fuels over the last decade throughout the country, the companies are looking for new ways to gain profits, and so now they've talked about renewable natural gas and new attempts to rebrand to try and get continuous, expensive, inefficient, dirty energy forms into communities. That is not the direction we need to be going as a state and as a country. And it continues to shift the burden of these pollutants into communities of color largely. And the rate impact can be significant. What we're seeing in communities across Chicago and other communities, there's actually a subject matter hearing today at 5 o'clock in House Energy and Environment about the price hikes of natural gas on customers. So this is not the direction we need to continue to be going. We don't need to build more of this in communities, especially without answering questions around what is the impact to these communities in the long term, because we don't want to build this infrastructure and then saddle people for decades with more fossil fuel impacts and higher bills to pay. So there are several bills that we're fighting for against their advancement this week as well.
Great, thank you so much, Colleen. So a lot of that is what's happened in previous weeks. This week, we're going to be working on those as well as advancing other bills. Another one of our priority bills is the Partners for Nutrient Loss Reduction Act, which extends the Partners for Conservation Act. I wondered, Elliot, if you could talk a little bit about where we are on that bill and the incidental compost bill we hope to move forward.
Yeah, for sure. So this past week, we had gotten Senate Bill 2474 out of the Senate Agriculture Committee. It's really, really important. Illinois has not had any dedicated funding for the nutrient loss reduction strategy, which is basically our state's mission to reduce pollutants that come from typical agricultural practices. So a lot of times it's nitrogen and phosphorus, fertilizer related things that leach into our waters and rivers and everything and can impact, wildlife, drinking water, and a lot of other things. We had gotten that bill out of committee, unanimously picked up a bunch of co-sponsors. It is right now supported by a bipartisan group of senators, which we're really excited about. There's an amendment that we're going to be messing with that we're going to try to get adopted and then get the bill out of the Senate and over to the House. And we're really excited to get this going. Like I said, we have not had any dedicated funding for this in Illinois, and it's desperately needed. We've got a lot of other states around us that are currently doing this work, and Illinois has been lagging behind in a lot of ways. So hopefully this will help catch us up. In addition to that, we're also working with Representative Freeze on House Bill 2891, which is going to allow folks that are creating compost to basically sell a portion of it that they're not using for themselves in their own farms. This has become an issue with a couple of particular farms in Illinois that produce a lot of compost for their own use, but they sometimes have excess that they want to sell to their neighbors, and it's all organic and really, sustainably made. But current waste regulations under the EPA were kind of hamstringing their ability to do so. So we've worked closely with EPA and the waste industry to come up with a bill that will allow them to do this while still protecting the environmental regulations around compost use and all that kind of fun stuff. So hopefully going to get this to a good place and also get that passed out of the House and over to the Senate before too long.
Great, thank you. And I just want to thank our whole team. In addition to the folks on this Zoom today, we've got our comm staff, Checker Berry and Pluma Campillo, who are helping us put this together. But we also have a whole team, Ayana Simbu, who's been working on our water legislation, new staff working on energy that I'm really grateful for, as well as our member affiliates. And we do give you this update with knowing that we're going into next week, in April 26th is going to be our virtual lobby day. Environmental Justice Lobby Day. We'll be working on the Clean Energy Jobs Act, changes to environmental justice air permitting, and finally the lead service line bill. So we're really excited about all these pieces of legislation. I hope that you're going to be able to join us for Lobby Day on Monday. It's really important. So you can register at ilenviro.org/lobby-day and join us, get all the information there, all the fact sheets that you're going to need. It's going to be a really great event. So I hope you can join us, and we'll give you an update next week after we see what happens during this really important third reading deadline week. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching, and thanks for your support of the Illinois Environmental Council.